Hello everyone, welcome back. I'll be going over my GHL account and what I created here. I'll be deleting this since I can't transfer it over to another GHL account unless I have a paid subscription, which I don't want to do since I'm pivoting from PPL. So I have my cold calling list here, or sorry, opportunities in pipeline. So when a lead comes in, essentially what happens is I will dial twice and then move to this section here. From there, I call one more time, maybe about 2-3 hours after, and then if they don't pick up, I will move them to day one. Now, once they are in day one, they will receive an automation, and then the next day I'll come back and I will call them twice, and I'll do the exact same thing for about 4 days, where they receive an automation, a text automation, and an email. From there, I will move them to this pipeline here, and it will be just calling one more time. And when they don't answer, that means they've ghosted. And if they've ghosted, they will then be moved to my other pipeline, which I will show in a bit. From there, if anybody is in this pipeline here and they text message me, they will automatically be moved to SMS, where they will be given a task just so I know that they responded to some sort of text and I have to follow up with them. So yeah, that is my current or sorry, not my cold calling, but inbound calling and how that works. And we'll move on to the appointment side now. So for the appointment side, there's a couple things here. So if a lead comes in through a instant form or a landing page, they can book an appointment. And if they do book an appointment, they will be moved here. If they don't book an appointment, they will be moved here. And I will show you how the automation works in a bit. But essentially, if they do have a appointment that was booked, they have an automation with reminders and also texting myself for a reminder or notification. From there, after I take a call, they will either be moved into these areas. So they've showed, now I have to do a future follow-up, so I'll put a task in. And then if they showed and it's a very hot lead, I will move them here and always put a task in these areas. From there, I have app no showed, so if they didn't show, I'll move them here and it brings them in an automation to try to get them to reschedule. And then this is ghosted nurture, so that's what I was mentioning. If they don't respond or I lose contact with them, I will put them in this automation where they're basically in like I believe it's 7 weeks, where they're trying to respond back. And if anybody ever responds in here, I believe here, or an app no show again, what happens is they get moved into this, we showed interest. And so it's just like my SMS reply area. They'll be moved here and then hit with the tasks just so I understand that I need to follow up with them because they showed interest. From there, I have unqualified and not interested. So any calls, they just get moved here if they're not interested or unqualified. So that's for my appointment setting. From here, I have clients. So let's just say a client comes in, I'll have payment. I'll send them payment and then payment finished. So I draft an onboarding document. And then once I draft the onboarding document and they completed it, they'll be moved here. And then once they finish the onboarding, we're going to start the delivery. So the delivery will be done here and then delivery finished. I think this is all unnecessary. But yeah, this is what I have right now. It didn't really work for one of the clients here. I just kind of moved them, kind of just had it in my head what I needed to do. And yeah, no show launch call. So if I have a launch call, but this was unnecessary as well because we were just texting and just call it whenever I can. And then they're moved into client. And then any client problems and churned is there. For existing clients, I have second order, third order, and client. All right, so that's basically it. So we'll then move on to automations. And we're going to go over the appointment setting. So this is when a new lead comes in and they book basically like this. Confirmations, reminders, and then an SMS for the last 10 minutes. Next one I have 2 stages, follow-ups removed from workflows. So this one here, let's have a look. Perfect, so it just adds a tag, that's all it does. Next one is going to be discovery call app no show. So this one again is just to try and reschedule them. We have SMS, we have tasks. Okay, and then if they don't respond, they get moved to ghosted. Next one, we have ghosted nurture. So this is my automation for trying to get them to respond. So it would be adding a tag and then just constant reminders and branding that I showcase just to see if they can get them back to being interested. Next one we have here is prospect responded and ghosted. Yep, so if they responded and ghosted and rescheduled, then it will get moved to that pipeline that I mentioned earlier and also give a task. From there, we have reshowed interest removed from workflows. So if they do reshowed any sort of interest, it would just remove them from any sort of workflows, just so you don't get any overlap. From there, we have not interested and unqualified. So these are just places where if I move them in there, they're just added a tag. All right, let's go back to instant form funnel. So this is the call when a new lead comes in. I had it with an instant form from Facebook. So they come in, assign to user, add tags, new opportunity gets updated, and then I get a notification to my cell. Now I wait 1 minute and I send them an SMS. And this is the first SMS I send. So I had it where they could book their own appointment. So I would send this to just say, hey, like I got your submission. But then I would wait 3 minutes for the next step because within this time frame, that person could schedule an appointment, and it worked really well. So I would wait 3 minutes, and basically I had a tag that if they within that 3 minutes, if they booked a call, it would add a tag that includes that they booked a call, which means that I wouldn't go to the next step. However, if they didn't book a call, I would send them an SMS like, hey, when do you got a minute? And they would send a text message back. So that was my system for lead-ins, and it worked really well. Next one, we have no contact day one. So again, this is just a workflow for sending an SMS and email when they don't answer, and I do that again for all of the days. And then when they're moved to ghosted, they get moved to the other opportunity for an SMS. It just updates the opportunity into the SMS. So we'll go back. New client. Okay, so this is where it gets kind of complicated, and I don't think I need any of this, but for the payment side, we have payment. When I change them to the status, what happens is it moves here and I get like notifications and stuff if something happens. So if the payment is failed, it will do all of these steps here and then try and figure out why the client failed and tasks to essentially get them to pay. And then from there, we have success. So if it's success, we just get new client paid and then remove any tags, add tag paid, SMS success. And then what happens is it moves to draft onboard. And then if we have like existing client and they paid, then we just start another order. And then when none of these conditions are met, essentially what happens is it tags collecting payment. And then I just try and collect the payment. And then if they don't pay, it moves them to what's happening. So we have client problems. But that's for payment. With my client that I had, it was no issues. They paid right away in like a minute. So I didn't really have to do anything there. And then onboarding was the exact same with that client. They finished it so fast. So it was a really good client that I worked with. They were absolutely A tier. And yeah, so drafting onboard, essentially the payment's finished. So I have to drop the onboard now. Draft onboard and send, and then just add tags, reminder if they haven't drafted the onboard. But if they do fill out the onboarding, it automatically gets updated. So when they fill out the form and contract that I had in Go High Level, it would create an update opportunity to move into this pipeline stage. And it would essentially just notify me to do the next step. So the next thing is building delivery. Basically, I would have to move this manually, and I would add a tag and then add a task that we're building out the delivery. Again, all of this was in my head, so I don't really need this. I don't think this was necessary at all. It would probably just be like, hey, client is in this stage, and then just update the tasks. It would have been so much easier. All of this I think is unnecessary, but it is what it is. So delivery finished, send client launch. So essentially, if the delivery is finished, I would then tell the client, hey, it's finished, let's have a launch call. And so that's what I would do here in this automation. From there, delivery complete launch task. So yeah, there we go. Okay, wait, that's it, right? Yeah, I think that's it. New client and then turned. Okay, yeah, so that's basically it. I will be deleting my two websites as well. So I have flowfinleads.com. So this is what essentially I had, and I would just like to document it. Businessloanrelief.com. All right, so this was my B2B website. I called it Flowfin Leads, and it was essentially just a landing page that I created on Go High Level, and it was created pretty fast. So our results. So this is when I had a media buyer, and this was his results. So I use his results here. And then these are fake reviews, so they're not real. Who we serve, it was business loans, working capital, merchant cash advance. Our process, why I work with Flowfin leads, frequently asked questions. So I created all of these and answered them. Commitment, want high quality financial leads. And then if they applied now, I believe my Calendly is actually not connected anymore. Oh, it's still connected. All right. So if they ever wanted to book a session, it would move them here. And again, it would just be basic, something like that. So I'm just gonna go over it one more time. Yeah, so I had all this data, which was nice. Cool. So that's my B2C website. Worked really well. Now this is my B2B website. It was very, very, very simple, and I didn't do much. Didn't even have a homepage. It was just a one-page lander that would show, hey, what's going to happen, testimonials, frequently asked questions, you're in a powerful position. And I had a couple of organic leads come in here. I'm not sure if it was from my competitors or if I was on a call with somebody that wanted to look at my B2C website and then they just enter the funnel. But I had about 3 to 4 leads that came in through here. And essentially what would happen is I connected HeyFlow and it would be moved to this landing page, which I never tested, but I know works. And a lot of people, they answered questions, but essentially what happened was once you got to the end, it didn't work because this was just a testing page. And there was this one guy who was messaging me and he was like, "Hey man, why doesn't this work?" Like I think he was trying to fish for information and he was really he wasn't too sly about it and he was aggressive on the call, so I immediately shut him down and ended it. And that's something that I learned as well, is not to give too much information out if competitors are essentially trying to fish for information, but you never really know, right? So yeah, Jordan and then Dang, and then email, and then that, and then it should be an OTP here as well, but this was again a free use, so I did not have any of that set up. So that was my B2C website, and that's basically it. Just gonna go over it and see what I did and deleting it now. So thank you very much. Cheers.